Bet you wanna bet that I can get you back inside your head before the summer ends and spread a little love. Just for a little fun, I'll make you come back to me before the rise of every sun. Baby, it's meant to be, I know you got a man, but he don't understand. You're gonna be a heartbreaker, you're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah. Rhythm in our love, it's impressive, excessive. You can't make this stuff up. My chest beats, it's restless, wakes the neighbors up above. Yeah, baby, come and show me love. Baby, come and show me love, because you're gonna be a heartbreaker. You're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah.
We can get on a plane and take a one-way ride, steal us away to find a place we can hide. It wouldn't take much to disappear for a night, just to give into the need and leave it all behind.
'Cause I know that you know that I know that you want me. You told me, now show me, come blow me away. 'Cause I know that you know that I know that you want me. You told me, now show me, come blow me away. You're gonna be a heartbreaker, you're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah. You're gonna be a heartbreaker, you're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah. Suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah.
Wednesday, October 2nd. Thanks for watching Inside the Numbers with the People's Pundit. Follow me on Twitter right there at People's_Pundit. All right, so today we're going to talk about the realignment that is coming ahead of Election Day. That will decide the election, which, depending on what polls you believe or don't believe, appears to be heading a little bit in Biden's direction. I refuse to take that assessment because tonight we start polling Pennsylvania. So I thought it was appropriate, given that we had some voter registration updates. Yeah, the Rasmussen numbers will not be good for Trump today. All right, they will be very bad. I know what they are, but I'm not going to blow them up. Maybe they released it already, maybe they didn't. But the bottom line is, we will poll Pennsylvania today. We will start that, and then I will decide. No offense to anybody else, but that is how I roll. Okay, I've been in this business a long time now, and I will tell you that it seems to be getting worse and worse in that respect, that I simply can't, I know them and like them. I'll find out for myself. And yes, I am still doing something real quick here, but we got some new voter registration numbers, and I'm starting to agree with a little bit with Susquehanna. I will poll it myself and I'll find out what's going on, and then we'll know. In 2016, Trump carried independents in Pennsylvania by about 5 points, depending on who you believe, exit polls or your own numbers. We tend to believe he carried independents by a little bit less than exit polls show, maybe 3, as low as 3. He just won a lot more of the Democratic crossover vote than the exit polls show. And frankly, folks, I don't even think this is debatable. You could just do basic math. You don't have to be the People's Pundit to do basic math. All right. And if you do basic math on exit polls, you will see they don't add up half the time. Okay. Right? They don't add up. There is no way you can win a state like Pennsylvania with 11% of the crossover vote. In 2016, Pennsylvania was D plus 11 on the voter file. And we're going to take a look at it real soon, although that'll be for map purposes. Our voter file will not update for Pennsylvania until a couple of days probably. But we do have new voter registration statistics that we could share with you. it was more Republican before this update came. All right. And what I mean by that is even my voter file right now is showing a full 2-point shift toward Republicans since 2016. And by the way, when the voter file was D plus 11, Trump won Pennsylvania at D plus 3. Again, we think it was a little bit more than that. We think it was probably like D plus 4 or 5, and that Trump won somewhere between 13 and 15% of the Democratic vote. And then the independent vote is very small, which is what I want to talk about with the polls. I suspect, and I'll find out. We'll find out in a couple of days, folks, because we're going to start polling it. If you want to contribute, you can do so by going to paypal.me/People's Pundit. PayPal.me/People's Pundit. That is the public polling project PayPal me thing. All right. If we get through Pennsylvania and we have enough time, we will move. Oh, not even time. Have enough funds. We'll move over to Arizona. All right. So, if you want to contribute, even though we're going to start Pennsylvania, does not mean we're done. All right. Because I know what's going to happen. We should have just kept doing that after we pulled Florida, because we missed about 5 days probably of fundraising. But this is what I suspect. Look at the Monmouth poll yesterday, for instance. They're not the only ones. And we had independents closer. Depending on, in Florida, there's just seems to be this like public polling thing where Trump is really getting crushed 55-35 in Pennsylvania among independents. I don't believe that at all. I mean, we actually had him lead by 3 points, 2 points in Pennsylvania among independents. I'd have to go back and check, but in the Rust Belt poll we conducted for the Epoch Times, oops, I should turn that off. That was, thank you, Natasha, I think. Yeah. So that's what that was. My bad. All right. Let me kill this because this keeps ringing during the damn show anyway. But we had Trump actually leading, just not by a lot. The difference was Pennsylvania was a little bit more Republican. And that was about last month that we did that. So I'm really eager to get in and see if anything has changed here. I suspect, folks, I highly suspect that Republicans have cannibalized a lot of those independent voters since 2016, right? What do I mean by that? I mean, there can't be, yes, there is a realignment, and it's not just in Pennsylvania, it's all over the country, and this is a great time, a great place to end time to show you what I'm talking about, all right? And we'll go county by county. I'll tell you what the margins were in those counties in 2016, and we'll take a better look at it. But listen, it can't be that he's just sucking up older, whiter Democrats that are changing their voter registration. There are too many. I mean, I guess it's possible. I just highly suspect 200,000 Democrats in the last year, changed their voter registration. Because Democrats have been adding people too. There's a difference between new voters and people who have changed their registration designation. And then there's also the fact that maybe it was 18%, and I could go and check the People's Pundit Daily Battleground Poll in 2016 that Big Data Poll did for the election model. And let's check it out. I don't think independents were any more than 18 or 20%. We'll find out right now. That's the track record. No, we need the polls. All right, in Pennsylvania, which Hillary led in for most of our time. And when they were crazy, Hillary plus 12s and 14s, we never had that. Never. In Pennsylvania, Hillary Clinton never led more than 6 points. She had a 4-point lead on October 24th and then lost her lead on, a 3-point lead by October 24th, and then lost her lead in the first week of November. I'm looking right at it. Independents in our polling were never more than 20%. In the end, they probably turned out to be around 18% or so. Now, the voter file, if you add all the independents, all of the nuns, all these crazy designations, and I'll show it to you in a little bit, it's nothing. It's in the teens, 13, 15% throughout most of this year. So I can't help but to wonder, Laura, if they're just if the polls are not understanding that many of these independent voters have been cannibalized, and that's the difference between what Robert is finding and what we're finding. I don't know. I mean, we haven't polled Pennsylvania in a month now, so it's been a month. I look forward to it as well. Yeah, we're really excited. As a matter of fact, we have friends who know what we do, and they're like, "Oh, when we poll it, can I come and look at it?" Because you can see it roll in live, but it's not weighted. So, I just really it's difficult. So I wouldn't show it live to you guys because it would probably just cause more confusion. But yeah, I tried to ask MarketSite if there's a way that they could apply at least a basic weight variable, because when it rolls in the raw data, it'll roll in for a 70-30 female. 70-30 female. So, there you have it. All right, so let's look at some of these voter registration trends. I'm just going to read them off a list to you, okay? Adams County in 26, and we're going to go county by, if you guys don't mind, let's do this really serious. Let's go county by county by county, all right? And let's talk about how the hell did I miss Adams on my table? I missed it. I got it right in front of me. I had the Secretary of State anyway in front of me, but on the 2016 table, I missed it. So Trump carried Adams County with 66.17, so 66.2, right? About 66% of the vote. Hillary Clinton got just under 30%. Gary Johnson got almost 3%, 2.6. Jill Stein, a little less than 1%. And there was this person on the ballot, Darrell Lane Castle, and he got about a half a point, 0.4. Trump's margin netted him 17,000 votes out of 47,500 cast, and his margin of victory was 36.2% in Adams County. All right. We have brand new numbers as of October 2nd here. Democrats gained 256 net registrations, and Republicans gained 1,879. 1,879 in a county that only had 47,000 votes. And Trump netted 17,000 plus out of it. All right, so let's move on now to Allegheny, which was one of my oh my God moments. I don't know how. I mean, really, maybe more Democrats are saying they're going to vote. I don't know. We're going to see. If anybody knows, you can let me know in the chat what the Monmouth poll was, the electorate-wise. It's more than just, get past the party ID. Of course, I want to know the party ID, but don't fall into that trap, because party ID doesn't matter. It doesn't matter a damn if you're only polling certain areas. It simply just doesn't. Okay? So you could poll the Bill Crystals in, what's a good example? Chester, right? Or not even Chester. Yeah, I mean, that's a good example, but it's not the best example. You could poll the Bill Crystals in Philadelphia, and you're not going to find out what is the correct Trump margin among his own base. And in fact, we saw a ton of that happen in 2016 and again in 2018, but definitely in 2016, I'd point you to the AP poll. I'd point you to the final Monmouth poll, which was Hillary +6. The final. They showed bigger base consolidation for Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump. That was crazy. And it was boggling our minds, because we had Trump at 90%, at 37% Republicans of share of the electorate. We had him at 90% in our final, 7% base loss. And on the flip side of that, Hillary Clinton with 85% base, 13% base loss. Trump lost more to Gary Johnson than Hillary Clinton did. And then Trump winning independents 48-40. But they were only 20% of the vote. All right. We never in Pennsylvania, and I'm scrolling through. Actually, there was one time, Laura, he was losing 17% of his base in October once in Pennsylvania in a Clinton +3, but she was losing 19%. So he was at 70, she was at 71, but there were more undecideds that were Republican. All right. And then also Gary Johnson at that time was taking 4% of the Republican vote. However, and then Trump led among independents by 4. However, they consolidated. In the end, those Gary Johnson voters came home. All right, so let's move on. That's Adams, relatively small county compared to this next one. Not relatively, it's a small county compared to this next one. Allegheny. In a dwindling, once upon a time, Al Gore won the entire Southwest of Pennsylvania. In 2004, Bush v. Kerry, it was very competitive. Bush was really running up the margin on what we call the T, which is central Pennsylvania. It runs through the middle of Pennsylvania and then up and then tees out. Very hard to poll. Remember, if you guys are, actually, I still have it here and I can show you. you'll see where the T is missing right now. Here's Pennsylvania. The T is, imagine that empty space. That is the top of the T. And then through Williamsport down to Harris, and then including State College. That's why the T is like, it branches off, almost extends to Erie, but doesn't. Ends like where you see that blob by Warren. Okay. The only Democratic area remaining is State College, which is why we're separating it. We want to know. Out to that area is a dwindle. There's one area where Democrats will do well, State College, but they will still lose that county, that surrounding area. And then in the West, further up, we see Pittsburgh. That is the only remaining blue bastion in Pennsylvania outside of Philadelphia and the suburbs that surround it. All right. And we're going to get to Bucks, which is very, very important, but we're going in alphabetical order here. Allegheny, city of Pittsburgh, vehemently anti-Trump. However, outside of the city, so you have two things there. And I don't mean to insult anybody. It just is what it is. Where do Democrats get their votes from in Allegheny? They get them from uber gentry liberals, which is a little bit less like gentry than like in New York City or Philadelphia. But there are these elitist, liberal, highly educated, I would say, and then you have the ghettos. And there are a lot of people. So they get their votes from the ghettos and the people who, have white guilt over the ghettos. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's their coalition in Allegheny. Outside of Pittsburgh and in the rest of Allegheny County there's steel country, by the way, out there. And outside of that, you have all of the working class suburbs. They're not suburbs like you would see in Philadelphia. Very, very different. Trump actually got almost 40% of the vote in Allegheny County, 39.9%. Hillary Clinton got 56.5%. However, that still netted her over 108,000 votes, just over. And her margin of victory was 16.6%. Democrats that we talked to are worried that Biden didn't do enough to counter the message that he has he wants to ban fracking. It's a big deal out there. All right. And it matters. And then you have the steel workers who revolted against the Democratic Party. Their leadership largely still supports Democrats. But in the end, they're going to go for Donald Trump. All right. Now, I know what some polls say. I don't believe them. It's that simple. No, he's doing worse in Western Pennsylvania than Mitt Romney. That's crazy. And we didn't find that in our Rust Belt Battleground Poll. We, in fact, found quite the opposite. And here's what we have. So I just told you the margins. By the way, big votes out there, guys. Even though Trump won less than 40% of the vote, he still got almost 260,000 votes. There are a lot of votes out there. Hillary Clinton got almost 368,000, just under. Big vote numbers out there. So it matters. Okay? If Trump gets slaughtered in the suburbs, where those are suburbs that are a little bit more beneficial to him, if he gets slaughtered out there and he doesn't get 38, 40% of the vote in Allegheny, it's a problem for him. Okay. But looking at these new numbers, Democrats gained 6,303 new voters in Allegheny. This is just the October 2nd update. That's it. All right. Overall, we can talk about it overall, but this is the latest. So if there was going to be this push, and there's a reason why at first Biden said, I'm not going out. It's not responsible to door knock. It was so full of crap. They just thought they were running away with this thing, hands down. They don't care about responsibility or whether or not their people catch COVID. They don't give a crap about that. They care about winning. They thought it would look better if they didn't. But Republicans are whooping them. They registered twice as many more voters in this latest update than Democrats, and out-registered them in Allegheny County, their stronghold. Democrats added 6,303. Republicans added 7,908. Almost about a 1,603 difference. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. So when there are now only 13 to 15%, maybe 8, I'll go and look before the show's over, 13 to 18% of the electorate tops is going to be independent. How much do you have to win independents by if you're losing more of your base? And in our poll, Biden was getting killed, but in the base crossover battle over the base crossover, right? So actually, let me look real quick. I can look this up. I think it was like 15-5, meaning Trump was taking 15% of the Democratic vote and Joe Biden was taking 5% of the Republican vote. It was that bad. It was really that bad. Maybe it has changed. I doubt it. I'm going to look right now and see. And that was being favorable to him in registered voters and likely voters. Maybe the margin didn't change all that much. It's just the electorate changed, All right, so while it loads up, it's a huge crosstab. While it loads up, here we go. So here we have it. Trump taking 20% of the black vote. And by the way, Nate Cohen's own poll in Pennsylvania showed Trump taking 22% of the black vote. So we're not off the rocker here. Monmouth, I believe. I don't know with this latest one. I know the other one showed him doing pretty decent. And then the Rasmussen poll, which was tied. I know they're probably going to change soon, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm just guessing by the work they've been doing. I'm guessing that will change eventually. But here we go. So yeah, I mean, Biden was getting killed in the crossover. 14.9% in Pennsylvania to 6.8%. So in other words, almost more than double the number of Democrats going for Trump than the number of Republicans going for Biden. All right. And then it was let me just go back and look. It was really close with independents. Too close. If I was Trump, first some polls show he's losing them. I'm not there yet. When I poll it, I'll tell you whether or not he's losing them. But in the last one we did, very close. 47.8 to 45.2. Not good enough. All right. And that may change. Maybe some of the other polls are on to something, but I don't know. What I'm suspecting is these independents are being cannibalized, or at least some of them are. So the independents who gave Trump his vote in 2016, many of them now probably have switched to Republicans. Why? Because Democrats aren't adding registration numbers, not at the pace that Republicans are. So if the number of independents are going down, where are they going? You understand what I'm saying? If they were 20%, 18% in 2016, and now they've like 5 points have vanished, where are these people? They have to be gone. They have to have gone. At least some of them have to have gone to the Republican Party. They're just straight up Republicans. All right, Armstrong, another strong, huge, strong county for Trump. All of these small rural areas, which Democrats ignored. All right, this is how Trump won the state. He won 74% of the vote in Armstrong. That netted him 16.3%. We don't even, I mean, at that pace, I don't even have to go over Hillary's. Democrats lost 201 in this update, and Republicans gained another 1,431. All right. In Beaver County, 57.6% of the vote went for Donald Trump. There was 50,000 votes almost there for him. It netted him 15.6 thousand. And by the way, Armstrong netted him over 16,000 votes. All right. Out of the 31,000 votes that were cast. It's a big net. There were 83,000 and a half cast in Beaver, and it netted him 15.6. So he's going to need to squeak out more votes in places like this. He's got to squeak it out to offset if there's a heavy Democratic turnout and that they turn out, in Chester, in those areas, those southeastern counties. Okay. All right. Democrats lost 36 in Beaver, and Republicans gained 2,592. So again, realistically, he absolutely could squeeze out more votes in these red areas. I mean, it's almost astonishing to think, but realistically, it's possible. All right. Bedford County, another strong one for Donald Trump. He won almost 83% of the vote in Bedford County. There were almost 24,000 votes cast there. Democrats lost 133 registered voters. Republicans gained another 1,134. And I'm going down the list on purpose because these little red areas will matter. Berks, Democrats actually gained 1,556. and the Republicans lost 7,998. Okay. In Berks, Trump won 53% of the vote. It netted him 18,000 votes. So this is one area where Democrats could make up some gains. All right. Blair, Democrats gained 92. Republicans gained 2,124. All right. And Trump took 71% of the vote in Blair. That netted him 25,000 votes. Bradford, another 71% county for Trump. Democrats gained 73. GOP gained 1,108. Bucks, the all-important Bucks County. Trump in our poll was ahead 49-47 in Bucks County. That was an improvement, although we're not talking about big sample sizes for the Rust Belt Battleground Poll for specific counties, but still, all right. You had Fitzpatrick, hold on. His polling shows him doing well in Bucks. So we'll see. We'll just have to see. I always tell you, take congressional polling that's leaked to the media with a grain. They're doing it for a reason. Maybe they want to fundraise, whatever. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. Hillary Clinton got 48.5% of the vote. Donald Trump got 47.7% of the vote. It netted Hillary Clinton about 2,700 votes out of the 344,000 and change that were cast. In Bucks County, in Trump's first term, it looked like Democrats were gaining in Bucks County, and it was that's bad news for Republicans because it's not like the other ones. It's not like Chester, all right? It's not like Delaware County. They have some areas where they're affluent. That's why it's a battleground county. That's why the district is so tight. But their fortune's reversed, and they've been losing voters up until now. They gained 3,668, but it paled in comparison to Republicans adding 6,622. So Republicans in this last update netted about 3,000 more votes in Bucks County. Why does that matter? Because it's a really nice blend, like I said, of some of those educated people. All right. It tends to vote to the left of the state. In 2016, it voted just to the left of the state by a few points. So if it looks like Trump is carrying Bucks County, then it's bad news for Joe Biden. If Biden is widening out the margin from Hillary Clinton in Bucks County, then it's bad news for Donald Trump. All right. Bucks is very, very important. All right. So, but this is bad. This update is a gut punch to Democrats. They actually, like I said, they've been now toward the end of September, they realized we're in trouble and we have to go out and knock on doors. So they started to do that. There's only so much you can do. And a lot of these states have deadlines. So there's only so much that you can do. All right. I mean, going through, damn, Laura, I mean, there's so many. I didn't realize it was going to burn through the first hour, you know. All right.
So much to do, so little time.
So much to do, so little time. All right. So look, Bucks is the first one as opposed to Allegheny. We know Allegheny will go for Biden. It's a matter of how much. This has been the case in Allegheny over the last couple of years. Allegheny, Republicans have been out registering Democrats in Allegheny for quite some time. So this is a problem. And in Bucks County, where they did make gains in the first 2 years in Trump's presidency, this last year has kind of pivoted. And so it's bad news. If Biden has to win independents in Bucks County by like ridiculous margins, if there's a turnout differential that favors Republicans. With this new update, they're about even in Bucks. So, the voter file in Pennsylvania is still heavily Democratic, but not in Bucks County. And we can look at that in a second here. You know what? Let me put this up while we're talking just so I can show you these counties as we go. And actually, you'll probably be able to see them. All right. Let's wait for this thing to update. Let's pull up our handy dandy trusty voter file over here. Okay. Let you guys see it. And then, we're coming up on that break. I'm going to grab some water. It's only 30 seconds, so have no fear. Okay. Here's Pennsylvania. We're going to map it out, folks. Okay. It'll take some time. Pennsylvania's big. Actually, we're moving pretty quick today, Laura. That's nice. Let me put up Pennsylvania. Okay. If I had been doing this show, you're just going to have to take my word for it. if we had been doing this show the entire time, folks, here's Bucks over here for people who don't know, my little hand squeaking around. For people who don't know, we've been doing this for a while, and we've been looking at these states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, obviously. Pennsylvania was several points more Democrat, but you could see it on the map, right? So in Allegheny County, where we were talking about before, on the western end of Pennsylvania, these steel workers, right, the welders, all sorts of, and yes, energy is a big deal out here too. This used to be Obama country. And even, the surrounding areas in southwestern Pennsylvania, Al Gore ran the table. John Kerry did very well. Barack Obama did extraordinarily well outside of what is just the city of Pittsburgh and the cities of Philadelphia. All right. Yeah, Mitt Romney did better in Chester and Montgomery and other areas like he did. But he proved there aren't enough votes among the gentry class. The rich do not have enough votes. You need a coalition of that class with something else, which is what Democrats have put together in the past. And this used to be a lot bluer, is my point, folks. Greene County down here, we're going to go over that soon. There were a lot, and there still are a lot of votes in Democrats here, but it's unbelievable how different Pennsylvania has changed over the years. It's extraordinary. All right. So anyway, let's take this real quick. Let's take a quick break. Now that I got the map up there, just to show you guys, I'm going to take a 30-second break. We will come back to, we'll show you the difference between Bush v. Kerry. We'll show you the difference with, Obama. I could go back to Bush v. Gore. You could take my word for it, all right? Because 20 years is a long time in politics. It's an awfully long time. And I just don't know the benefit of showing that at this point. Potentially, it matters. I don't know. I really just think that we should stick to these other maps because 04, 08, and 12 verse 16 would be really interesting. So we'll do that. All right. Let me take a real quick break. We will go down the list here when we come back. All right. 30 seconds. You're watching Inside the Numbers with the People's Pundit. Follow me on Twitter at @peoples_pundit. Don't forget to like the page if you guys are on YouTube right now. Don't forget to subscribe to the page People's Pundit Daily. Hit that notification bell. It will let you know when we are going to go live. Okay. And then, of course, the best way to support the show is to subscribe to People's Pundit Daily, which you can do by going to ppdnews.us/subscribe. ppdnews.us/subscribe. Okay. And we will be back in about 30 seconds. All right, so we're back. I'm looking through these maps as we go. And yeah, I mean, there's not none, but there's not as much value to look at the maps that we're seeing, so the bottom line, there's more value to keep to 08 and around 08. And then we have 16, of course, which is the most important one, of course, but because you will see how the map has changed over time. All right. But anyway, Allegheny and Bucks so far, out of what we have talked about so far, are the most noteworthy to mention, okay? Because it shows you that Democrats they really have to run up these margins. Are we going to believe that Trump is going to do worse in these areas? I am not at all convinced of this, folks. I'm just not. That some of these areas, like Allegheny, that's an area where he's going to have to put up more numbers. And they're out there trying to make that happen now. But they weren't before, and you pay a price for that. And the insiders that are talking are saying they think that fracking ban, which they will call false, by the way, right, Laura? They call it false. They will argue until they're blue in the face that Joe Biden will not support a ban on fracking, or at least that he doesn't and never said he did. But he raised his hand in that debate, and Trump has run with that. And then also, too, Trump's idea is that Trump's argument is that he won't be able to control these people. It doesn't matter, right? So it doesn't really matter what he says to you, because in the end, they're going to run all over him. That's something to be told. But look at that map, and I'm going to keep it on the screen while we run through a few right now, okay? Here is 04, and I told you in 04, Kerry did well compared to Gore, but Gore ran it out in southwestern Pennsylvania, which is where we were talking about before the break. Here is the map, and you can see on the map all of the counties we were just talking about. Allegheny. Washington is to the southwest of Allegheny. Look at Westmoreland. Light pink, right? And then the one that's blue at the bottom is Fayette. Okay? And in that area, let's just stick to areas right now. Democrats lost another 448 votes. Republicans posted registered voters. Republicans posted another 2,464. Now, before we keep going, this is 04. Here's Obama's big win in Pennsylvania. You can already see that things started to get quite different over time, but Obama did so much better in Erie, which is the northwestern county that's blue, okay? Obviously, you can still see where the voter file is. Allegheny is blue, right? And then you have speckles throughout the state where he won. He won Center County. That's where the state colleges are around. And then you have the county to the northwest of that. That's Elk, all right? And then you have the county just to the southwest, which is Cambria, all right? Gambria, right? And then the north in the east, he did very well. In Luzerne County, he did very well. He did very well in Monroe, obviously. Then the darkest of them all was Lackawanna. That is supposed to be Biden country. All right, keep that in mind as we keep going. Now, here's the map in 2012. Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama. Now, you can see Mitt Romney made the T a little bit redder. Not red enough. Simply not red enough. And he did horribly in Luzerne County. The only one out of that four up there, Carbon County, is the only one he flipped. And again, smaller population than some of the other ones, so it simply wasn't enough. Obama still carried Luzerne. He still carried Monroe, and he still carried Lackawanna. That's a pretty big deal. As we're going to move forward, you'll see Northampton, Lehigh. He carried all of that, which are those two to the south. All right. And then Allegheny, of course, he carried. And he got the college in the middle, and he carried Dauphin, which was one of the remaining Democrat bastions still to this day. Now, here is Trump versus Hillary. Very red everywhere, where Mitt Romney was trying to redden it out. The T in the northern part of the state is just completely red. They kept the state college, of course. That stayed. Center is going to stay. I don't know. Let me not make things. Let me not say, because Trump, he barely lost center. Barely. So, 46.3% of the vote. Hillary got 48.7. She netted 1,814 there. All right. But you can see she carried Bucks, which is at the far northeastern corner here. And just to get rid of this again, I'll show you on the hand. Here is Bucks County. All right. And she barely carried it, but she carried it, and it matters. All right. And then the rest of them pretty much filled in. Trump swept in the southwest outside of Allegheny, Gore country. What was Gore and even Kerry country? All right. Mitt Romney won those areas too, but look at how light it is in the southwest. And then here comes Trump. He darkens it everywhere. All right. Philadelphia is the only dark blue, which tells you they won by a large margin. Even Allegheny, like I told you, Hillary Clinton won Allegheny by 14 points. It wasn't that much. All right. And this matters too. Look at where Erie County, all the way to the northwest. Look at Erie County. Hillary Clinton lost Erie County to Donald Trump by 2 points after Mitt Romney lost it. Mitt Romney lost it. He lost Luzerne. Donald Trump almost carried Lackawanna. Almost. And let me give you the margins for that because I'm going to jump around real quick. Lackawanna, Donald Trump, 46.7% of the vote, 48,000 votes. Hillary Clinton, 50%, 50.25, just under 52% of the votes, which netted her about 3,600 votes. In Erie County, once plus 16 for Obama. All right. He got 48.6% of the vote compared to 47, almost even for her. That netted him just under 2,000 votes. So in alphabetical order, in the interest of the alphabet, Laura. Democrats did not lose registrations this time. They have been. In Erie County, they gained 15. Republicans added another 1,746. Almost Hillary's entire margin already. I mean, Hillary, you know what I mean. Almost the entire margin in Erie County that Trump eked it out. In a Rust Belt poll that we conducted for the Epoch Times, Trump was ahead in Erie County by 10 points. All right. Now let's look at Luzerne, which Trump did carry. He didn't carry Lackawanna. You can see it there. All right. Lackawanna is here. All right. But he did carry Luzerne to the southwest. All right. Let's go by alphabet. Luzerne and Lackawanna are both right here. So we'll just go over them. Let's go to Lackawanna first, which was very stubbornly Democratic. Has been. Trump still got 46.8% of the vote. Hillary Clinton got 50.3%. That gave Hillary Clinton a 3,600 vote edge. In the latest update, this, by the way, Lackawanna has been looking really ugly for Democrats. And there was some bounce back for a little bit. There was, and it just got uglier. Democrats added 560 new registrations. Republicans added 2,150. Okay. Now Luzerne, where Trump did eke it out. Okay. Eke it out. He won. I mean, he flipped it. I mean, he flipped it since Obama and Romney. And Romney could not take Luzerne. All right. He won 58.3% of the vote compared to 38.9% for Clinton. And that netted Trump out there 26,237 votes. Babe, that is, nobody's talking about how these things have just continued and continued to go, because it's like, what I think they didn't understand is that there are more votes out there to eke out, and Republicans on net have beaten them at this game. And it's like, well, how many more votes can you get? When we poll these states, you know it. Mm-hmm. These rural numbers never look this high. It always looks tighter when you're polling it than it ends up being on election day. When these suburbs take polls, they participate. These areas don't this way. And it's much harder to get an accurate margin in more working class and rural areas. So maybe it'll say it's going to, Donald Trump leads in Luzerne 50-32. And then when you put the poll together, it doesn't, Joe Biden's not doing as well, maybe a little bit, but it drastically can understate the Republicans' true support. Mm-hmm. Because you're just like Florida.
It kind of masks it.
Yeah, just like Florida and the Panhandle. It damn well never comes back 70+%. When we poll Florida, it's like maybe 60, 65, 35 in the Panhandle. It always happens. It'll end up 71, 75, 76, whatever. Always happens to us. But the people who participate in those polls, it always looks better for Democrats. So I just can't help but to think that's part of that is going on right now. I just can't help it. And yeah, for those of you, I'll keep mentioning it's paypal.me/People's Pundit if you want to contribute to the polling project. paypal.me/People's Pundit. But don't forget to like the page. It's 11:15 already. I keep forgetting my spiels. I know. Well, we did start late. We're only going to go till noon because I got to do this poll. But it's like, the bottom line is don't forget to like the page and, of course, hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube. All right. So this was a giant flip. And did I give them? I did not. So in Luzerne, Democrats added 185 new registrations. Republicans added 3,513. It's a big difference. Big difference. Some of the areas where Republicans got killed, you could see here. Where's the Mitt Romney map again? Let me get the Mitt Romney map because this is a great point how things have been changing, right? So actually, Mitt Romney, he didn't carry that anyway. He was able to flip only in the the southeast. He was able to flip Chester, right? Yeah, he flipped Chester. Here's Mitt Romney's map. Chester is right here. Here's Chester. All right. And then let's look at Chester because it's important. So you can see Romney, he did flip it, and then Trump lost it to Hillary Clinton. And he did so. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to my trusty dandy little thing here. Chester went to Hillary Clinton, 52.3 to 43.2. It netted her just under 26,000 votes. All right. And then in the end, Democrats seem to be continuing to make gains in Chester. So in this latest update, Democrats, I thought they did add. Yes, they did. But Republicans didn't do shabby either. It's the other one. It's Montgomery that they're continuing to get killed. 4,706 new Democrat registrations. Republicans gained just under 3,100, 3,085. So on a percentage basis, not a total slaughter, but still Democrats continue to make gains there. And Montgomery is the one where Democrats are really like, if they run up margins, man, it'll be in Montgomery. 9,332 new Democrat registrations, 5,366 for Republicans. And in 2016, Donald Trump got creamed there. Hillary won 59% of the vote. Trump won 37%, and I'm rounding, which netted her a little over 93,000 votes. All right. And we can keep going, but we are going to keep going. Actually, I might as well. Now, let me take the 2-minute break now because,
I just want to say it looks like the trend is, a lot of red
to the working class. Yeah. Well, and on net, I mean, I'm just trying to read off some realistic stuff here too. Like Democrats did. Yeah. Like Democrats did do well in some areas. Philadelphia, 11,773 new voters. Republicans gained 6,375 new voters. But the net change here is, again, in this reporting period alone, Republicans registered twice as many more voters than Democrats. And that has been on top. I got to go back and look now. It's over a 2-point shift, Laura. It was a 2-point shift before this happened. And I'll show them the voter file about that.
All I have to say is I think when we're done with this poll, there are going to be a lot of people who will go into shock.
Well, and we'll find out. We'll find out. But Democrats are still the heavy advantage in the state. They still have a very heavy advantage. But the point of the show is the realignment.
Yeah.
It's if we see this in Pennsylvania, then how are the polls in Minnesota right in the Iron Range? They can't be. Because those 4 northeastern counties, when we polled it, everything but Cook was gone. Everything. That's why he went to Duluth.
Mm-hmm.
Because those voters now, and because you look at it and you think, well, no, that's 10 points. It could never shift that much. Of course it can. Look at how Trump carried Luzerne. Look at how he carried Luzerne County. He shifted Erie County 18 points. Of course it can.
Mm-hmm.
And Duluth, by the way, is the last Democrat area in that part, and it may not even be that Democratic anymore. And that she barely held on there in St. Louis. It was 14 points, but 14 points in a realignment is not safe. It's not. It could shift. It could easily shift 14 points, like Erie taught us, like Luzerne taught us.
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama did very well in these areas.
But
very well.
That's also why they're catching such things like Luzerne dumping votes and.
Right. Well, and then I know you still probably, no doubt somebody brought that up in the chat.
No,
but
I did.
Okay. But it's just far from the days of Barack Obama in 2008 carrying Beaver and Washington at the western part of the state. And these are the areas that are difficult to poll and to reach. So if you look at the New York Times Siena poll, Donald Trump is killing Joe Biden. Let me go back and look at some of the things I parsed out of that. It was really interesting. But I'll tell you how they got Biden's lead. All right. And Emerson, yep, Emerson's not that yeah. I mean, Emerson's got Trump leads among extremely, if you look at that Emerson poll, by the way. But let me go back, and I wrote myself a little note here about the New York Times poll. Okay. And some of the ballot returns are I told you guys don't read the early vote tea leaves and the return tea leaves. It's not great. Yeah, so Trump is winning non-college whites in the New York Times poll by about 25 points in Pennsylvania. He's winning 22% of the black vote, which is noted too. Barnes sent me a note too saying, look, just like you. So you're not right. You were not wrong, but his whole lead is Biden's lead in the New York Times Siena poll is Biden winning a 30-point margin in all of the Philadelphia suburbs and college plus whites. So that was the number one source of the era. In truth, Hillary, folks, let me let you in on a little secret. Suburbs are not just the suburbs in and around a metropolitan area. There are different kinds of suburbs. Donald Trump lost the suburbs in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, the Philly suburbs. Donald Trump lost them by double digits in 2016. I keep hearing Dana Perino and others on Fox going, he actually won the suburbs that last time he just eked it out. He won the overall burbs. You're talking about Chester and Delaware. He lost the burbs in those counties. So, I mean, I just don't, and Montgomery and Bucks, he lost Bucks. He lost the Philadelphia suburbs by 16 points. So, I mean, suburbs are difficult to define, Laura. What about obviously, he didn't lose the suburbs outside of Allegheny since he got almost 40% of the vote in that county, right? So what kind of suburb are you talking about? And Lehigh, there's a little blurb left in Lehigh. That may have been a bright spot. Before I go to break, let me just bring that up in case I forget since we're at L. I mean, no, the Republicans still outperformed them in Lehigh. 2,417 new registrations for Democrats, 3,179 for Republicans. Lebanon is an area where Democrats actually thought they could do better. For those of you guys who don't know, Lancaster and Lebanon too. Lancaster is Amish country, which everyone knows about, but there are like mini ghettos in Lancaster. All right. Where everyone's just addicted to drugs or selling drugs. It's a very economically depressed area. All right. And Democrats added in Lancaster 2,762. Not bad at all. And Republicans added 5,569. And Lehigh, Democrats added 2,417. Republicans added 3,179. So you guys are getting my drift, no doubt. Okay. I can't wait to poll this state.
I know.
I can't wait to poll it.
I love when data comes in and you could just.
Yep. Let's see if we can confirm or what they are talking about.
There's
we
no
can see.
Biden
Look,
plus 7, though,
listen.
Come on,
Laura, he would have to romp. He would have to romp. For those of you who don't know, I just showed you that those maps. Okay, in 2008. Now this was a big win. This was a very close election between Bush v. Kerry. Kerry barely won it. This is a plus 10. Okay. How did Barack Obama get to plus 10? Lackawanna, Luzerne, Erie. There's not enough votes everywhere else to get to plus 10 when the T is very, very Republican. Okay. And he lost the southwestern counties of Greene, Washington, and Fayette. All right. That next go around. I said that wrong before. I meant Kerry and Gore. They used to run it up. But if in this kind of realignment, you cannot lose Luzerne, Lackawanna, Wyoming, Carbon, like Wyoming's a little bit different, but look at how Obama won everything down to the Philadelphia suburbs, Laura. Carbon, Northampton, Lehigh, Berks, Bucks, Montgomery. And Berks is somewhere where they made some gains this time around. Trump made it redder. So here's Mitt Romney's. Berks is, let me get rid of it just so everyone can see it. All right. Berks is here, guys. All right. Right here. Right to the southwest of Lehigh. Okay. Mitt Romney won Berks. Okay. And he barely won it. And then Donald Trump, he won it by a larger margin. This is a bright spot for Democrats in this last registration update. Hasn't been the entire time, though. All right. So I think that's an open question, too, and will be interesting to watch. But here's Hillary losing the state. This is Obama carrying it by 10. It's not just that whole eastern region of the state going Democratic. It's that you have to lighten the rest of the state to get to plus 10. You seeing the difference here? This is plus 4. The rest of the state went redder in the center area, but Romney did redden those areas out, while some of the other areas, he just couldn't make any gains. So Erie still went for Obama by roughly the same. You see the difference? That's a plus 4 instead. This is a loss. So to get to what some of these polls said, we need to look more at a picture like this. Okay? And of course, things will shift. They will shift. But that eastern region of the state is where everyone said Biden would do that damage. I just don't believe it. Not yet, I don't. I don't believe it yet. I'll find out myself when we poll, and we'll learn the truth, Laura. We'll learn the truth. But I just don't see Biden taking back Luzerne with these numbers. And in fact, it's very likely that Trump could take Lackawanna, the last one that he could not take. Okay. And Monroe, that's a tough lift. I know it's very light blue here, but since the changes, it's very much like what's going on with Berks, that realignment, you know. All right, Laura, yeah. Say something. You want to say something?
No.
Oh.
I just missed when you point to them.
Oh, you want me to point? Oh, hold on.
Where's Weatherman Ridge, man?
All right. Hold on. Oh, there's my finger.
There you go.
I'm like, there. Berks is over that blue one right there to the southwest. All right. Berks is right over Chester, like directly north of Chester. It's light pink in this. That may be an area that you see turn bluer for sure. I could absolutely see that. I'm just not there yet because they haven't made gains like this over a sustained period of time. I don't know. We'll have to see, folks. Again, we'll just have to see. But when we come back, we'll take a look more at some of these. You know, we're running out of time, so I'm going to pick the counties that I think are important. They're all important. Everyone is important. You know what I mean? But I'm going to pick the counties where I think it really demonstrates the realignment. All right. So sit tight for this 2-minute short break. I'll leave you with the soothing sounds of the Bowen Band. Don't forget to subscribe to the page, People's Pundit Daily on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. It will let you know when we go live. That is not actually as, consistent as Facebook Live, which absolutely will. So if you go over to Facebook, like the page People's Pundit Daily, it will let you know immediately when we schedule it, and you will know when we are going on. All right, not just for this show, but what are the odds? And then also we're going to be doing little pop-ins here and there. All right.
Yes.
And tomorrow we're going to try to make a really quick, we have to move this. Now that all the stuff came, I want my dining room. I want to, it looks good, and I want to keep it looking good. I want to clutter it with all this stuff. So we're going to have to relocate. It's about time. I was trying to keep overhead to a minimum, but it's about time. All right. So also, too, of course, the best way to support the show, because Inside the Numbers is sponsored by PPD, is to become a subscriber, which you could do by going to ppdnews.us/subscribe. ppdnews.us/subscribe. Time is short, so we're not going to make it. I wanted to show you the JOLTS report today, the job opening and labor turnover. They ticked down, but they remained far higher than expected. They ticked down from what was already an incredibly high number, which was also unexpected. Over the last 3 months, we've seen that with the JOLTS report, stronger than expected data. And July was revised higher. Okay. Hires rose, separations fell. It was a good report, even though it was slightly less. But you will see that right now on the cover of People's Pundit Daily. if you go there and read it. But do that after the show. Okay? We'll be back in 2 minutes with more of Pennsylvania and the political realignment on Inside the Numbers.
How much you wanna bet that I can get you back inside your head before the summer ends and spread a little love. Just for a little fun, I'll make you come back to me before the rise of every sun. Baby, it's meant to be, I know you got a man, but he don't understand. You're gonna be a heartbreaker, you're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah. Rhythm in our love, it's impressive, excessive. You can't make this stuff up. My chest beats, it's restless, wakes the neighbors up above. Yeah, baby, come and show me love. Baby, come and show me love, because you're gonna be a heartbreaker. You're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah.
Get on a plane and take a one-way ride, steal us away to find a place we can hide. It wouldn't take much to disappear for overnight, just to give in to the need and leave it all behind.
'Cause I know that you know that I know that you want me. You told me, now show me, come blow me away. 'Cause I know that you know that I know that you want me. You told me, now show me, come blow me away. You're gonna be a heartbreaker, you're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah. You're gonna be a heartbreaker, you're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah. Suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette, 'cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah.
All right, we're back from Inside the Numbers. Thanks for watching Inside the Numbers with the People's Pundit. Follow me on Twitter at People's_Pundit. All right, we are talking about the political realignment that is everywhere, but in specifically Pennsylvania. A couple of things, just looking at the break, what I want to say, looking at some of the questions. He already is hedging, Michael. We're talking about the Slimer. He already is hedging. When Chris Cillizza wrote an article on CNN saying just a couple of days ago, he said the models show Trump has no chance. First and foremost, those are not models. Those are poll readers. The Cook Report, Larry Sabato's tiny crystal balls, and the Slimer's model are glorified poll readers. That is all they are. They're not models. Models, maybe polling in is one of the predictive indicators in a model, but a model would not gyrate the way their models gyrate unless you heavily weight the impact of the polls, public polls, which tend to be, for those who are new to this, not the most predictive indicators. We have polling misses in the past, but we have indicators that almost never fail us. All right. And the most objective model is Helmut Northam. The most subjective one out of them is the Keys, which I still like quite a bit. I like the Keys quite a bit, but it is still rather subjective, such as, does the administration have a scandal? Well, he said Obama didn't have a scandal. His indicator for a scandal was no. It was negative. I don't know, but Benghazi, the IRS. I mean, I could go down the line. Fast and Furious. Maybe you don't think they're scandals. Either way, it depends what your party affiliation is to determine whether or not there's a scandal there nowadays. And of course, Trump does have a scandal because of Russia and Ukraine. Multiple scandals. I mean, so if you're a Trump supporter, you think that's hogwash. right? That's the way it is. So yeah, and then so he already is hedging because he quote retweeted Saliza, who Trump was right. He is one of the dumbest political pundits out there. All right, he is. I mean, his model in late September had Democrats keeping the House in 2014. That's why he now works at CNN. You get a promotion when you forecast incorrectly, right? Anyway, he quote tweeted Saliza and he said, "You're a hack basically of a journalist. If you would have picked up the phone, then I would have told you, but you never do. So let me explain to you that 20% is not no chance." And if you go back, because that's what they have him at, 20%. If you go back, Hillary Clinton was 23. I mean, Donald Trump only had a 23% chance running against Hillary Clinton. So the difference is only 3 percentage points in his model. All right. So he always hedges. He will hedge. Absolutely, he will. All right. All right. So back to some of these very interesting numbers on voter registrations. Okay. Let me look at a couple other ones here. Yeah, we went over Erie, we went over Lackawanna, we went over Luzerne, we went over Bucks and Berks. Out of those all, the only one that was good for Democrats was Berks, but the overall trend was not. Of course, you have their gains in Montgomery, but Monroe, all right? Monroe is here. Remember? Oh, I got to show you guys. Pop this map back up. All right. Let me show you. Monroe is here, guys. I just lost my right contact is sliding. Here's Monroe where my little hand is going. All right. Keep that in your mind while I show you these maps. Okay. Obviously, that is one area where Donald Trump did better. That region Donald Trump did better in. This is 08, a landslide. That is Pennsylvania plus 10. Okay. That's what it looks like. You can see here Romney did better, but he didn't flip Luzerne and he didn't flip Monroe. Trump flips Luzerne, but Monroe hangs, okay, in the balance. And it hung by 47.9% for Donald Trump, 48.6% for Hillary Clinton. It netted her 532 votes. In Monroe, Democrats gained 1,481. Republicans gained 1,736. That's why I pulled the brakes before when I was saying whether or not it is possible that Donald Trump can carry Monroe County. It looked like it was going to go on election night in 2016. That was obviously a great election for him. If it's a bad election for him, then he probably won't carry it. But it's possible if the state is closer than everybody thinks, it is possible Monroe goes to Trump, but Biden just does better everywhere else. You know, like a place like Berks, and that would mean he did better in Bucks County. Again, last month when we polled the state, it was 49-47 in Bucks. So I'm very curious to know whether or not that's going to happen. We are asking specific counties. We are asking regions too, because there are some areas where we're just not going to get enough for each county. So we're breaking it down on the Rust Belt poll into regions. And for those who did not join us the other day, I will get you those regions right now. Okay. Philadelphia. And that includes Philadelphia County. The Southeast. That includes Bucks, Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery. The Northeast. That includes Carbon, Lackawanna, Lehigh, Luzerne, Monroe, Northampton, Pike, Schuylkill, I always get this wrong, Susquehanna, Wayne, and Wyoming. Dutch country. That includes Adams, Berks, Cumberland, Dauphin, Franklin, Lancaster, Lebanon, Perry, and York. Then we have Central Pennsylvania, Armstrong, Bedford, Blair, Bradford, Cameron, Center, Center. Again, the only bright spot for Democrats is Center in this region. Clarion, Clearfield, Clinton, Columbia, Elk, Forest, Fulton, Huntington, Indiana, Jefferson, Juniata, Lycoming, McKean, Mifflin, Montour, Northumberland, Potter, Schneider, Sullivan, Tioga, Union, Venango, Warren. And then we have the West, which we're going to break out. Allegheny County will be included in the West, but we're separating it. That will be Allegheny. All right. The West will be Beaver, Butler, Cambria, Crawford, Erie, Fayette, Greene, Lawrence, Mercer, Somerset, Washington, Westmoreland. All right. Why are we doing it and then we're going to ask about the counties specifically. Why are we going to do that? Because you may poll the state and you may include Allegheny in the West and you may get almost all your responses from Allegheny and think Biden is doing better in the western part of the state. And it may lead you to believe that he might carry Erie again. That is how these mistakes happen. In the central part of the state, if you hit up center and it's way too much of your sample for that region, you may think that Biden's doing better in rural Pennsylvania. You understand how this could happen? You may get too many responses in Berks and think he's doing too well in Dutch. All right? That's how some of this happens. That's why it's sneaking suspicion that that's what's going on here. And we're going to break it up into those regions. We're going to ask about ethnicity a little bit deeper. Are you English? Are you Italian? Are you Irish? Are you German? If they choose white, they're going to be funneled off to those. And then we'll get a better idea of how they're doing. So right after we ask them in which area do you live? Do you live in an urban, suburban, or rural area? We're going to ask, in which region do you live? And there'll be a legend. Do you live in one of these? And then they'll have to tell us their specific county. And we'll have city data based on their based on, look, that's big data, folks. You answer the survey, I already know where you came from. All right. But I don't want to have to go back and fill in all those damn answers myself. So I go and I'll look in the postal code and we will convert it to county sometimes. But if you're looking at like 1,000 responses on a poll, it takes forever to do, right? Oh my God. What zip code was it? And then it's very tedious. Yeah, very very time consuming. That's why some of you are like, why you cut the short? But then that's why. I mean, that's the way it works. Yeah, I mean, the Biden plus 16s and the Biden plus 14s and the Biden plus 12s, folks, this, again, is what it would take to win Pennsylvania by 10 points. Could there be shifts like in Berks and then some losses elsewhere? Yeah, there could. But I am saying it would have to be it's more likely that we'd have to see closer to a return to that kind of a map. Even though 2008 was Mitt Romney did better, for instance, in Chester. That's about it. He was able to flip Chester. And Trump still lost Chester. But the bottom line is you would have to see returns to those kinds of marks. Because looking at this, do we seriously believe that Joe Biden's going to do better in some of these rural areas? Not that many. I just don't buy it. I don't see it. Where's the surge in registration for them there then? Up until this last report, it, you've seen it. There was negative this, negative that, negative this, negative. I mean, it was all over the place. Right? I mean, really bad numbers. McCain, Democrats lost 60. Republicans gained 831. Lycoming, Democrats gained 36. Lawrence, they lost 9. Mifflin, they lost 55. Susquehanna, they lost 4. Republicans gained almost 700. Sullivan, Democrats lost 132. Republicans lost 24, by the way, there. Somerset, Democrats lost 337. Republicans gained 1,207. Schuylkill, however you say that, Democrats lost 65. Republicans gained almost 2,000. Potter, Democrats lost 47. Republicans gained 314. And where is Forest? Another loss for Democrats there. The last one was Democrats lost 5 or something. Republicans gained 50. Here, Democrats lost 19. Republicans gained 58. Why does that matter? It's very small, but it's very indicative. It's what a lot of these other areas look like. Fayette, Democrats lost 448. Republicans gained almost 2,500. Elk, Republicans lost 173. Democrats lost 173. Republicans gained almost 800. And again, Erie, they gained 15 registered voters. Republicans gained over 1,746. That's what they gained on the money. And then you have areas where they did do well. Obviously, in Delaware, 5,723. Republicans just under 2,000. So there are areas that kind of, like I said, that shows you the trend, shows you the shift. Venango, Democrats gained 27. Republicans gained 958. Warren, Democrats lost 132. Republicans gained 501. Washington, Democrats lost 96. Republicans gained 3,610. Tioga, Democrats lost 37. Republicans gained 813. I may have said that one already.
I think so.
In Wayne, Democrats gained 185. Republicans gained 848. In Westmoreland, remember that county talking about the special election? Democrats lost 168. Republicans gained 6,546. York, you ready? Democrats gained 1,538 in York. Great job. Republicans gained 5,835. Where are they getting these votes from then? Where are they going to come from?
They're going to make them up.
So these people went out and changed their voter registration, or they went out as new voters and signed on to the Republicans, yet they're going to vote for Joe Biden?
Yeah, okay.
Folks, this is madness.
Yes, it is.
This is crazy.
It's wishful thinking.
It's wishful thinking is what it is, or it's a very big polling error. Now, granted, there are still 4,150,000 registered Democrats, almost 151,000. And there are only 3.4 and change, 3.43 million registered Republicans. All right. And about 1 million independent and third-party voters. But we can allocate these people in the modeling that we do on Aristotle. We can allocate them. And here, by the way, let's see how much it may have updated.
Somebody
Let's look at
missed your
Pennsylvania.
Luzerne number.
Luzerne was, give me 1 second. Luzerne was Democrats gained 185, Republicans gained 3,513. And in that area as well, Lackawanna, Democrats gained 560, Republicans gained 2,150. In that general area, Monroe, Democrats gained 1,481, Republicans gained 1,736. Monroe looks like it could be the only battleground area, frankly. Why is this not running this analysis report? I may have to restart it. It's going dark. It's giving me the spinning wheel of death. Give me 1 second here. Well, it is a big state. You know, I just have to refresh it. And if I have to refresh it, it might, what's it called? It may ask me to do something else. Yeah. Looks like Aristotle's just having a problem. That's going to happen. I mean, we're talking about a voter database that's 200 million strong. And everyone's hit. If you work with Aristotle, you're hitting it today. You know, so let me hit stop, get rid of it, and redo it.
Thank you to Debbie Tyler, Taylor Marshall, and Regina Pontus for their super hearts.
Oh, thank you. And everybody who has contributed, obviously, to the polling project. You know, I mean, I'm actually seeing bings here. You know, let's just go for the last hour or so. Ian, Richard, Betty, Marie, Ferdinand, James, Lewis, JC, Ethan, Clark, Natasha, James, Andrew. I mean, down the list. All right. And like I said, maybe we'll be able to hit Pennsylvania. I mean, maybe Arizona. We'll be able to hit Arizona at this rate. You know what I'm a little bit concerned about, though, doing it like this, is that if you get an old poll that's a couple weeks old, and then we don't have newer numbers to up, like in Florida and Pennsylvania, we're going to have done early in October and late September. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Epoch Times Rust Belt poll, you can't keep those top lines there. However, I mean, it took the media a few weeks to catch up to the state of the race in the Rust Belt poll. So Data for Progress had Trump basically up by 5 because there is no head-to-head. There is no damn head-to-head matchup. I don't know why people keep doing this. There is no head-to-head matchup. And you shouldn't just say someone else with the major third-party people. So Joe Jorgensen and Howie Hawkins. You don't just say someone else. If you want to do it for the tax party, the reform party, the Constitution party, the progressive, whatever, you want to do it for those candidates, fine, because there are some states where there's going to be numerous choices. But we do, if Joe Jorgensen's on there, it's Joe Jorgensen, Libertarian. If Howie Hawkins is on there, it's Howie Hawkins, Green Party. You do not do what they do. Someone else or head-to-head. There is no head-to-head. Monmouth had Trump up by 6. They're not going to make that mistake, I guess, this time. Trump +1. He won it by 10 points. It was a 9-point miss. They're not going to make their mistake in Ohio. So it looks like they're starting to realize the state of that race. All right. So there we have it. Yeah, Aristotle's just doing the spinning wheel. I really wanted to keep up with that and show people those geographic areas. But you guys generally get the picture. In the last couple of minutes of the show here, you guys generally get the picture I'm trying to paint here. And unless Burks has a heavy shift, which I suppose is possible, unless Burks were to have a heavy shift, unless Lackawanna was to go back, was to go heavy because it did go for Hillary Clinton, but barely 50.5 to 45.8. All right. Unless Luzerne is going to suddenly shift 20 points back against Donald Trump. They didn't vote for Donald Trump because he was a great guy. They didn't vote for him because he had an attitude and they didn't like the way he talked. They voted for him because of his working class platform. Will there be some shift? I bet there are. I mean, with the coronavirus, there are some coronavirus voters. And his campaign, this is the worst possible thing that probably could have happened to Donald Trump, him catching the coronavirus and then everyone around him having the coronavirus. Maybe in the end, he comes off looking like a rock star. All right. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen with the debates moving forward. We really haven't gotten a totally straight answer. We jumped on a conference call with the campaign about that, but that was before all hell had broken loose over it. So we just don't know. All right. Matter of fact, I'll keep my eye on it and see if they have. Maybe we'll contact them and ask them if they have what they think they're going to do. We got Biden and Pence. We will talk about the VP debate. I think bottom line is, guys, that Mike Pence is not a vigorous debater. He's just not. He didn't do a great job against Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine was seen to have won that race handily. And if you look at the polls, if you look at the polls, it was like Kaine plus 1 million. Who knows? I don't remember. It was a lot, So there you have it. I'll go down the list again at the end.
Go easy on her because she's a woman. Because this whole equal rights thing that they push, that he better go at her like she's got a pair.
Yeah, if he wins Pennsylvania and loses out, he won't though. He will not. Nobody should expect Mike Pence to go heavy at them. Just don't. I just don't think that's going to happen. Trump being down 9 points in Maricopa makes me kind of laugh. It'll be very close. But look, again, that's another great example of where on earth they think they're getting these numbers from. Democrats in that very last report, they did a little bit better in Maricopa, but Republicans widened their R4 to nearly R5 now. And that's why Democrats had to get a federal judge, or I think it was a federal, it might have been, they had to get a judge to extend voter registration in Arizona because the Biden campaign finally realized that it's possible these polls are not right. And Republicans are killing them on voter registration. And they know because voter registration tells you how many votes you have left on the table. That's what it tells you. So the bottom line is, I just don't buy it. I just don't. We'll have to see. He was not great with Tim Kaine. I mean, and there was no race and gender dynamic there. So but I mean the polling, I'm saying. He didn't go after him so hard. He should have a Tulsi Gabbard moment. She did, because when Harris is flustered and challenged, she falls apart. And he needs to make her, yeah, she looks nasty. That's right.
But the
She
ugly-
was, look, guys,
Yeah.
we're polling Florida during those debates. She completely collapsed. I mean, people just didn't like the way she looked. And Trump really needed to make, and it's one of the biggest failures of his campaign so far, is to not make the argument that this is not Trump versus Biden. This is Trump versus Harris. He's not going to be if he wins, guys, he's not going to be president. I hate to tell you. He will for a little while. He will not make past his entire first term. I'm sorry to have to break that to a lot of you guys. And in half the electorate, there were people in Florida who told us, Laura, that they were uncomfortable voting with they were uncomfortable with Kamala Harris as the president, yet they were still Biden voters. And give me a second there, because in a race like Florida, it's very close, right? So where is the voting intention? Crossed with Harris administration. And let's look at it. So 10% who told us they were voting for Joe Biden were somewhat uncomfortable with Kamala Harris as the vice president. Another 5% told us they were very uncomfortable. Get this. 14% of Joe Jorgensen's voters said they were somewhat uncomfortable. 30% were very uncomfortable. Howie Hawkins, 30%. 23%. All right. So he didn't. And by the way, among voters who were undecided, only 9% were very comfortable and 27% were somewhat comfortable. 58% were somewhat uncomfortable among the 7% of voters who told us they were undecided. Another almost 6%, rounded up, were very uncomfortable. So together, 64% of the undecided vote in Florida. I want to show this just so you guys don't know I'm BSing you. I'm serious. That's a lot, guys. I mean, Trump did not make that case. He didn't make it great. You guys see that? He did not make that a great case. So look, undecided is all the way over to the right. Here it is. You guys see where my little pointers? All right. Look at how many people in the undecided camp said they were somewhat uncomfortable. Look at, and then you add that to the 6% rounded up, very uncomfortable. You have 64% of the undecided vote in Florida being at least somewhat uncomfortable with a Harris administration. So, I mean, I think that in the end, that was a seriously bad, what's it called? A seriously bad result for them. That's it. I'm not sure what 11 points were. Registered voters, it means Dems are 11 points overpolled in that poll. It's overrepresented. Don't forget that, guys, all right? Don't fall for what it's like the Twitter and media. They always say, like, Republicans were undersampled or Democrats were oversampled. It's overrepresented or underrepresented, all right? So that's it. I think that honestly, Greg, the president caught coronavirus. What's going on with some of these polls? Response bias is when a party and their voters do not want to participate in surveys because there's bad news for their guy. All right. Like, for instance, yeah, I knew that was coming out with Rasmussen James. I know them and I don't want to make a comment that, but the bottom line is, I don't know how you go from Trump 1 to Biden 8 to Biden 12. Public opinion doesn't work like that. It's possible Rasmussen hit response bias where they simply weren't getting accurate people, to tell you the truth. I do have somebody about right now to knock, which means that's the wrap. Yeah, that's probably oh no, she threw something. That's good. And so anyway, it's noon anyway. We will get started tonight with the Keystone State Battleground Poll. But anyway, great example of response bias before I go. Mitt Romney was never leading Barack Obama. That Pew +4, Romney +4 was never true. He had a bad debate performance, and Republicans fell to response bias. And so Democrats fell, Republicans increased. Same thing with Gallup's approval poll, by the way. Trump never hit that high in the Gallup poll because of his handling of the coronavirus. They simply it was either response bias or they intentionally overrepresented Republicans to make it look like his approval rating was higher because he was shutting down the economy. And if you look at a lot of other polls, folks, you will see that's all they did. I don't think Trump's approval rating ever really increased because of the shutdown. I think they frankly duped him. Be honest with you. That's what I think. All right. So there we have it. It is noon, so I'm going to kick rocks. We're going to go. It's a shame we didn't get through that economic report. Read it on peoplespunditdaily.com. This show is sponsored, of course, by People's Pundit Daily. You can support the show by subscribing. pbdnews.us/subscribe. pbdnews.us/subscribe. After you saw that cross tab on people that are comfortable or uncomfortable, boy, the Trump administration is really leaving a powerful argument on the table. They have been for weeks, which is no bueno, because you have more than 6 out of 10 undecided voters in Florida not being comfortable with the Harris administration. I'm tweeting that crap after this. That's a big deal. All right. All the best, folks. We're going to go. Don't forget to like the page on People's Pundit Daily. Like the page on Facebook, People's Pundit Daily on Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. We'll let you know when we're going live. Laura, got something to say?
Yeah. Sad day for Van Halen.
Oh, my God. I don't even want to talk about it. Thanks for reminding me again.
Legend.
Oh, Van Halen passed away. I don't even want to talk about it. For those of you who do know me a little bit better than others from just Twitter, I used to be a serious guitar player. I love it. I miss it. And he was a huge influence. I'm not like that kind of starstruck guy, but I loved Van Halen, and I absolutely Slash was my favorite. Slash treated me great. I met Slash once. If you guys want to hear about that, I'll tell you at another episode. The guy was super cool. He I don't know. He rolled out the red carpet for just a fan. It was amazing. It was so great. That was when he was engaged to Perla, who he's now divorced from. So that's how long ago that was. But great time, let me tell you. And he was super cool. It was awesome. But he's my favorite. One of the best memories I got going ever. Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to rock out of here, and we will be back tomorrow at 10, not 10:30, at 10. Unless I had to make it 10:30 today because of the economic calendar, because we had to move and shift stuff around. Hopefully we can get that done today so it does not interfere. So I will start that polling tonight. I will intentionally make it go until Saturday because we want to make sure we get an accurate representation. So maybe I will intentionally only collect 300 or so responses tonight. All right. All right, folks, all the best. I'm going to leave you with the soothing sounds of the Bowen Band and our theme song, Bad Habit. All the best. See you tomorrow, folks. Thanks for watching.
How much you want to bet that I can get you back inside your head before the summer ends and spread a little love. Just for a little fun, I'll make you come back to me before the rise of every sun. Baby, it's meant to be, I know you got a man, but he don't understand. You're gonna be a heartbreaker. You're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette. 'Cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah. Rhythm in our love, it's impressive, excessive. You can't make this stuff up. My chest beats, it's restless, wakes the neighbors up above. Yeah, baby, come and show me love. Baby, come and show me love. Because you're gonna be a heartbreaker. You're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette. 'Cause I just wanna be a bad habit, yeah.
We can get on a plane and take a one-way ride, steal us away to find a place we can hide. It wouldn't take much to disappear for a night, just to give in to the need and leave it all behind.
Cause I know that you know that I know that you want me. You told me, now show me, come blow me away. Cause I know that you know that I know that you want me. You told me, now show me, come blow me away. You're gonna be a heartbreaker. You're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette. Cause I just wanna be your bad habit, yeah. You're gonna be a heartbreaker. You're such a love taker. So just suck me in and you can toss me like a cigarette. Cause I just wanna